Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Walking with Jay. Today's date is what, the 2nd?
Yes.
Of October 2018. I'm your host, Jeremy Vincent Henry Larson, and I'm here tonight with my new friend, Ryan Cruz. How you doing, Ryan?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well.
Awesome.
All right, what do you want to talk about, man? You already going with me before I
kind of just wanted to talk about consciousness as a whole and just things that I observe, my perspective observed about general population or general people in the community and the battles and struggles and stuff that they're going through in life and how it all correlates to all of us and how we're all connected in that regard or in that way.
Have you always been interested in this way of thinking, or?
Probably not my whole life, but ever since I was a kid, I would I always tried to be aware. My dad always taught us to live in the moment.
Right.
And that included like listening to the lyrics of songs.
Okay.
And like that there was messages and things to learn and gain
if you pay attention.
If you pay attention.
Right.
If you're watching. And I was always so busy talking.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was like, I had ADHD, and they say, or whatever, and it was funny because
Were you formally diagnosed with that? Or?
Well, no, never by a doctor.
Yeah.
But like I knew something was wrong or not wrong, but I look back now, different. I look back whenever I would have conversations, and I learn a lot by asking questions.
Okay.
As soon as they thought the answer, then
Right.
I knew it without them having to explain it to me. And so then I would interrupt them.
Right.
Because I wanted to get to the next question.
Because you already had the answer you were looking for.
As soon as they thought of it, then it radiates outward, and that's a lot of people probably where they don't think old self-limiting beliefs that you can't do things. You can do anything you want to if you really believe and put your intent and focus into it,
Okay.
And so really whenever every thought that's ever been imagined has already been imagined before. That's why we're able to think of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why we have words, because it symbolizes a thought that.
Yes, that somebody's already had before you.
Right.
Or it could be you having it before in a previous life if you want to get really deep.
All right, let's get deep.
So
Ryan Cruz, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. So, like for instance, you can say when you say an idea pops in your mind about tonight. Say it's lunchtime tonight.
Okay.
You are thinking, "Oh, I'm going to go home. I'm going to make spaghetti." You visualize these images.
You see it before you do it.
You see those images. That's you remembering your future's past. In a way, yes.
Okay.
That's the only way you can remember it is by already having that. Done that before.
Right.
That's why. And so they say, well, I don't know. They say
remembering your future's past.
Yes.
How does that work?
Because the future and the past and the present are all at the same time, in a sense.
Is this quantum physics you're talking about?
I don't. You can say that, or metaphysics, or all of it correlates to physics.
Right.
Yeah. So that's just the theory, and there's a lot of great minds and a lot of books and a lot of scientists out there that talk about it, and you can have your reality be whatever you want it to be.
Right.
That's the beautiful thing about being here is that we have a choice. And, we have a choice to be happy and sad and mad, and nobody controls us. It's just old constructs that got implemented long ago, that things we needed to be sad about or things we needed to be mad about when someone made a mistake and we thought it was a trespass against us. Or it was supposed to happen for both of people. Like, every mistake that ever happens really, and I know there are people out there that once you've made the mistake, if you keep doing it, then you're doing wrong.
Right.
If you don't, if you know it was wrong and you learn the first time, and and where forgiveness comes in. People don't forgive each other enough. And they hold on to those things that was unnecessary.
Right.
You set your boundaries that you don't like that. And there's people out there that are going to do bad, no matter what.
Right, no matter how much you communicate a boundary or what have you.
Or no matter how much love you have or they have.
Right.
And so that's how it is, it's just that's the way it's going to be, and everybody's here to play their part, and there is no high or low, or there is no ahead or further, like people gauge monetary, wealth and stuff like that. That really actually in the end, when people talk about it, their life, the most important thing actually is health.
Yeah.
Is what becomes the most important thing.
Right. They're not going to talk about, like if they're on their deathbed, they're not going to spend too much time thinking about how
No.
successful they were monetarily.
Yes, you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not putting love out into the world,
Right.
and you're doing your part in that sense of like your soul mission, they say we all have kind of a soul mission or a purpose, your life purpose. There could be lots of different things. You can
Do you remember how old you were when you figured out what your life purpose was or your soul mission?
Ooh. Well, probably I was doing it subconsciously. And I know that now because I can see from above. Like, I've become aware, really, really, really aware this last probably 4 years after I went through some more traumatic stuff.
Right.
You know, traumatic, that's the thing. Any experience will enlighten you, especially traumatic experiences.
Trauma like
divorce is a traumatic experience.
Right.
Or losing a loved one.
Right.
Or, you know, having a friend pass that was a best friend, or it could
Something
be
that
losing
just
your dog.
turns your world upside down.
Yes, or some horrific, terrible car accident that he almost died from, you know?
Right.
Usually those are times when people have ascension, or they have awakenings. They call it Kundalini effect. They call it lots of different labels, and labels are all for pizza, but it's basically increasing your level of consciousness.
Right.
And so we have all these different levels of consciousness, and there's a scale, actually, that Dr. Hawkins developed that's called the Hawkins scale, that they measure your vibration, and your vibration correlates to your level of consciousness, LOC. And so, like, everything vibrates because everything has
energy, right?
Yep, and it all has an electromagnetic field around it, and so it all vibrates. And there's a way to test it using kinetic muscle test.
Okay.
Yes. And
So what do they have, a device or something? Or?
Well, your subconscious doesn't lie, so they have a squeeze thing that you use your muscle.
Right.
And you know, the subconscious, if you know anything about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind is 1 billion times stronger than the conscious mind is.
Why?
It's what runs everything.
Okay, so
your conscious mind is just this awake, you know. But most of us are like asleep in a sense of, you're awake but asleep is a sense of knowing that we're not humans here trying to have a spiritual experience. We're spirits having a human experience.
Right. So what drives your fight or flight instinct? Is that subconscious or conscious?
A lot of that's subconscious. If the body senses like imminent danger around, yes,
like this kid.
Yeah, that would be that would be your subconscious part of it takes over. Your what system is it?
Parasympathetic nervous system. Or
yes,
whatever.
Your nervous system. Yeah. And so some of that is that, you know, and some of it's not. But like when you're sleeping, your subconscious mind is still running and operating. Like everything you hear when you're sleeping, you're getting.
It's still recording.
It's still recording. And you can, like, I've studied for tests and stuff, just playing the music while I'm sleeping on low.
Right.
And I know that I'm retaining the information. And then when I need to recall it, when I'm during the test, I just will recall it.
Wow.
And you can't remember it like word for word, but you only need to do is get it in your subconscious. And once you get it in there, then it'll come to you when you need it.
That's interesting.
Yes, and if you believe it will come to you when you need it.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it too, is what your belief system is, right?
Oh, yes.
Because if you believe that you're not going to get it, that kicks in that fear response again, right?
For sure.
That fight or flight.
Well, that's the hard part about it. All these, there's tons of them out there. The Secret, the Abraham Hicks on all the YouTube channels, all the Tony Robbins, like how to manifest your desires and all that, you know.
Sure.
And most of it is just, if you are always focused, it's what you think about.
Right.
And so if you're focused on what you don't want and what you don't have all the time, then you're going to get more of what you don't want and don't have.
Wow.
And that includes ability.
Right.
Or like talent.
Right.
Or like if you never think you're going to be good at playing the guitar, you're never going to be good.
Wow,
you're already lost. You're already lost because you haven't even put any effort to go.
Right.
The second you do that, you've defeated yourself.
You're stuck in that doubt mode.
Yes, and I've always like known, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not happening.
Right.
Like nuclear radiation, you can't see that, but it kills you dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and
just
so
gotta be aware.
I can imagine laser beams of love going out of my fingertips right now, and they're invisible, and I'm sending them to that.
Right.
To that tree or to anything I want.
Right.
People, consciousness of the whole.
Right.
And you are doing it.
So you're literally.
Yes, and that's how that Dr. Hawkins measured that energy.
Right.
And that's your vibration by how loving you are. Level of consciousness
cool.
Yeah, and so when you get to a certain point, unconditionally loving, you're offsetting a lot of people that vibrate low.
Okay, so what
Yeah.
happens then?
So, well, nothing happens. It's just that there's the yin and yang, you know, the whole,
Right.
and light and dark, hot
Right.
and cold. We can't have like this balance of people being here, and level of consciousness has to have diversity.
Level of consciousness has to have diversity. Explain that to me.
I don't know. I mean, it feels like, yes, I would say so. It has to have some diversity because it can't instantly just be. Yes, I mean, well, nothing's instant, obviously.
Is that because there has to be an opposite to everything? Is that what you're...
That's kind of how they say, you know,
Yeah.
have balance. You have to
Right.
have an opposite of everything.
Right.
So, and
You
then
say
in
tomato,
order to,
I say
in
tomato.
order to enjoy it, like how can you enjoy bliss if you were always blissful?
True.
You couldn't.
True.
You wouldn't know what it was like because you don't have anything to gauge it off of.
So, why do we work so hard to try to find that bliss? Why does it feel like it's such hard work?
Because mostly because we've been trained since we were born from old limiting beliefs that were taught before us and taught before them and taught before them and taught before them, that you can't be happy until you have this certain amount of things, or you have this money, or you have this, or you have retirement, when really you can be happy right now.
Right.
Exactly.
Just got to choose it.
You have to just choose to be happy.
Wow.
Yes, but it's hard.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
It's very hard, and that's why we go through these traumatic experiences, is to learn how to be happy. The more that you go through, and the more that you forgive, the further you get to being loving unconditionally, like Jesus Christ did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it appropriate when you're going through a traumatic experience? Is it appropriate not to be blissed out? Is it appropriate to feel anxious?
It's totally appropriate, because all those emotions that come into you, they're real emotions that you're experiencing. Yes.
Right.
The key is whether or not you hold on to them or not,
Right.
and how long you hold on to them.
Right.
Because you have the choice. Yes, you're going to have those emotions, and you're going to feel hurt and sad and mad and angry, and
Right.
you're going to want, you know,
Disappointed.
yes,
or-
but you process them. You let them come in and you process them, and then you let them go. And you
Right.
forgive that person, and you let, you know, that's the thing. All things that we hold on to, grudges or not forgiving someone, gets stored in your body in the form of negative molecules.
Negative molecules. I've never heard that one.
Yeah, that's scientific proof. There's lots of energy people out there that's studying this, you know, and
It's like it's a mass then, or
it's just energy, and that's the thing about our whole body stores everything. It's just like a digital storage. A living, live storage
right.
place. I mean, so they say that things like all ailments and sicknesses and stuff that we have today, and these are things I've read on Gaia, and I've read books, and I've seen other people talking about it.
Right.
And there's people doing all this energy work. Are things, past traumatic experiences, or unprocessed emotions, or heartache, or whatever it could be that we haven't let go of.
Right.
Yes, and so and when you hold on to all that, and you get those negative molecules formed, then when you get a bug, or you get a sickness, or something, or you get enough of it, you get cancer.
Wow.
That's what they're starting to discover, and I don't know. I can't say this is all scientifically like proven fact, but everything that I've read, it's leaning towards that, and so that's why they have these sound healing meditation people, and they have these energy workers that actually release, and I know energy workers and how they do it subconsciously, and there's people that do zoning. They pull it out of you, and
right,
and they send it to the center of the earth, and the earth, and this is invisible, obviously.
Right,
you can't
right.
see any of it, but that's the thing, back to, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Wow. So you can visualize it, I guess.
Yes, you imagine it, and that's
Right.
really a lot of how a lot of things are in life, is you imagine it.
Right.
If you want to do something that's cool, you have to imagine yourself doing it,
Right.
and
Right,
then you put yourself inside that feeling of already doing it before you are,
Yeah.
and then pretty soon you're doing it before
Right.
you know it.
Right. Right.
And I do it at the restaurant. Like, I'll go in there and I imagine the waiters are all smiling and the customers are all happy, and
Right,
the waiters
right.
are getting good tips. and there's a line at the door, and everybody wants to come to this restaurant,
Yeah.
and it's happening, and it feels good, and it's loving, and just people are attracted to it.
Right.
And I'll sit there and meditate that, like while I'm sitting there,
Uh-huh.
and I look up, and it's
happening.
reality.
Wow.
And then I'll even, and I think maybe that could just be me hallucinating, you know?
Well,
It
hallucinations.
could be.
you know.
And they say, consciousness is a shared hallucination if you really want to look at it.
Yeah.
So, but I look at it, but then I'll see another person that looks at me, and I get this sense, because I have that sense or
That they
whatever,
appreciate
that
what's
they
happening. Or...
see it. And
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
they almost point me out with their, imagining it with their eyes. They're like, oh, he's the tone keeper, or he's the
Right.
one who's like
You're
setting
off
the reality
yeah,
right
yeah.
here. Yes. And then I figured out,
Because of the frequency you're generating, or what?
Yep. My way of being, whoever's the highest vibrating frequency in an area,
Uh-huh.
whoever's the highest vibrating soul will be the one that everyone else
influences.
follows subconsciously, even though they're consciously awake. They're awake, and they don't understand that they're feeling this. Oh, I feel so good and happy, you know.
Yeah.
They don't understand where it's coming from. They just think it's them.
Very interesting.
And I've had other people say, I just feel so good standing by you, and my anxiety's gone.
Uh-huh.
And they do, because that's
what you're putting
I'm
out there,
putting
huh?
out. My frequency is like, and I say this with total humility, like, I love every soul. You
Yeah.
know? Like that's like the type of person I am. Like,
Right.
I would never, you know, I love animals, and I try to walk my path like being pure love, so that subconsciously, or anything, like especially dogs know it.
Yeah.
They know that I'm not a threat, and they love me automatically.
Right.
And we instantly have a connection, and I can feel them, and they can feel me, like we're one.
Right.
And they become as calm as I am, or as rambunctious as I am.
Yeah, and that way you don't get your ankle bit.
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, that helps a lot. And I got bit by a German Shepherd when I was a kid.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I ran.
Talk about traumatic.
I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
But I know that experience happened for some reason or another, either for me to
Learn or...
like be more in the animal instinctual mind. Who knows what
Yeah.
it triggered in my mind that caused a reaction about to cause me to be to the moment I am right now.
Right.
Yes.
So how old are you?
38.
38.
But I'll be 39 on the 23rd of October.
Oh, cool.
Yes, it's my birth month, and the most spiritual month of the year for me.
Right.
I feel it's really heightened. I can feel the moon, and Sirius, the star, the dog star.
Right. Dogs are.
I was born at 1:25 a.m. It was like right up in the top of the sky in the middle of the night when I was born.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so I was always thought about the stars, because they say we're made from the stars and stuff.
Right.
And I thought, energy, you know, a star, how much energy does a star
Tons
have?
of energy, right?
Yes. Our sun is like a tiny miniature star compared to those big
Right,
stars out
right,
there.
right.
So I actually came across an article that said that 200 years ago they were trying to harness or like find people's star power.
Really?
And then it brought me onto these other articles, and I know you can find articles online about anything you want.
Right.
And it can be in line with what you're believing.
Right.
And it can be the opposite.
Right.
Depends on what you're looking. And so I know you can't believe everything you hear or see, and I don't expect anybody to believe or anything that I'm saying either.
Even tonight on this show?
They have a choice, and what they choose won't offend me.
Really?
Really.
Now, how do you keep from being offended?
Well, I respect all walks of life and
So,
appreciate them all.
I get
Like,
it.
it doesn't matter where you're from or who you're from. You're on your path exactly where you're supposed to be in that moment, exactly who you are and
Right.
what your faith is and what you say, and all of it is happening exactly for everyone's purpose. Like, to me, everything feels like divine.
Right. Right.
Otherwise, it wouldn't happen. You know? Even coming here tonight, I was like, whoa, you know?
Were you intimidated a little?
Not
or?
intimidated. I don't love myself completely all the way.
Uh-huh.
And so, I practice numerology, which is numbers. When you
Uh-huh.
see random
Okay.
numbers, or they say it's your angelic realm communicating with you, ascended masters and your archangels. And
Like when you see 333 on your watch or
333
whatever?
is and that's the Christ number right there, like the Holy Trinity number. When you see 333, you're being Christ-like, basically.
Wow.
Yes, I saw that when I look at a lady in a wheelchair, and I was like telling her I love her silently. Just
Yeah.
when I was driving, and all of a sudden I look at the clock and it says 3:33.
That's very nice.
Yes, and
I like
and
when those
you
things
know
happen.
that.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what, and then you look it up online. You can look it up, and I use Joanne's Sacred Scribe from Australia. Really good one.
Cool.
And it gives you a little message. It kind of shares what that number means.
Wow.
What's Paragathus?
What is Paragathus?
The guy who invented
Oh,
pi?
Pythagoras. Pythagoras.
Yes, I can never say his name right. I'm terrible. English language is too.
You're not terrible.
Yes, it's a hard
You're a good
language.
guy. I'm glad I got to know you a little more tonight, Ryan.
I'm glad I got to know you and got to talk. But
This is pretty cool.
He was the first one to suggest that numerology.
Okay, very, very interesting.
Because everything is a code, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Binary, or I don't know what the other code would be. That's like from Mother Earth, which follows 3, 6, and 9, and it never crosses into the binary system. Ever.
Really?
Never.
Well, it can't because there's no 2 there.
Yes, exactly. There's no, and so.
Oh, no, there's zeros and ones, right? That's binary, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, I don't know anything that I'm talking about tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but this guy does.
I don't
Mr.
know.
Ryan Cruz, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
that's it. That's the duration of the
Sweet.
walk. It's a 20-minute walk.
Perfect. So yes,
Do you want to say anything to
I want to say
to
people out there have a choice to be happy, and no one controls your emotions. And the more you forgive, the better you feel, the healthier you feel, and the more love that you put out into this construct, you know, even in thought, and the less judgment, or you know, but the more you just think that you love every soul you pass, everybody all the time, and you don't have to say it to them, you just do it silently.
Yeah.
To yourself, you will feel so connected and feel so good. It's amazing. Like it's just worth even that. And it's
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. For Mr. Ryan Cruz. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
pleasure to meet you.
And we'll talk again soon, hopefully. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.